You could say that there is something close to an election in our gospel reading this morning. Then Jesus summoned his 12 disciples and gave them authority. The disciples were elected, chosen to go out and share the message of the gospel. This, of course, continues to happen. God chooses people to partner with him in order to carry out his work. In our world, certainly at present, election or choosing has become a potentially destructive idea. Some extreme religious groups use their claim of being chosen by God as a way to justify violence and hostility against those who think, believe, and act differently from their beliefs. Some nations view themselves as more important or more significant to the world because they are exceptional and somehow a better embodiment of God's values and purposes. Some leaders and others overrate themselves in terms of leadership, management, and social skills, believing themselves to be all-knowing and falling into an arrogant pride that they alone are so very valuable to God and others, thereby justifying whatever actions they take. The result of this thinking is that these chosen ones expect to be treated better than others. They feel justified in making their needs, their opinions, their beliefs more important than anyone else's, and therefore feel justified in the oppression or ignoring of others whom they consider to be lesser people. This results in massive imbalances in power and well-being across the world, and contributes hugely to racism, discrimination, marginalization, and exclusion. In the eyes of God, all are chosen to partner with God in sharing what we understand to be his values, priorities, and purposes for our world. This choosing is a call not to privilege and status, but to justice and compassion. It is a call to be outraged at the violent and life-smothering consequences and reverberations of structural racism, to stand up as we observe people's rights being taken or ignored, to shout out when others are silenced. It is a call to take action when we see people being exploited for their labour or thrown off their land, when human rights are denied for status and greed, when election rankings and market prices are deemed more valuable than human lives. It is a call to recognise and overcome the divisiveness of our biases, prejudices, and fears, to sit with uncomfortable truths, and to shine a light on the immorality of racial discrimination. It is a call to find ways to make it better, to use our voice and our presence to change things. It is a call to ensure that people can freely breathe. If we accept God's calling, God's invitation, we have an opportunity to demonstrate God's love and justice and compassion through our words and actions. We assume responsibility to address some of the great challenges and abominations in our world, most especially at present that of racial discrimination. May we embrace the call of God as a chance to work with God in serving and supporting those who need our support right now, those who are finding it difficult to breathe, here in our own country and community, as well as further afield. Amen.